We are the hiccup in the system. We're not going to stand silent. We're going to fix this. We're going to do whatever it takes to make these guys stop picking on medical cannabis users.
The undercover wanted to be a qualifying patient so he could buy cannabis. The undercover told the doctor he had back pain. He told me. Remember that based on his representations, Fontenot was certified by Dr. Berg as a qualified patient. And remember, Officer Barsh testified that he did in fact get his card. Choice of evils. It's a defense to an offense charge that the defendant's conduct was legally justified. The law recognized the choice of evils. The choice of evil justifies the defendant's conduct if the defendant reasonably believed that such conduct is necessary to avoid an imminent harm or evil to another person, not yourself, as his example, on breaking into a house if you're cold in your car. No, this is a harm or evil to another person. This conduct is justifiable if the harm or evil sought to be avoided is greater than that sought to be prevented by the law defining the offense charge. I think it's pretty clear what the imminent harm or evil to another person was I was trying to prevent. You've seen all the guys I was helping on hospice. The harm and evil to Fontenot was his back pain. He lied to me and said it was. What evil happened when I transferred that to him? Was there any evil? What evil could it have been? He had pain. I gave it to him. What evil happened because I gave it to him? There was nothing evil. What evil would have happened if I hadn't give it to him? He would have continued to suffer, and I would have continued to have to feel bad about all these people that suffer. Because as I pointed out to you, 5 or 10 people a week for the last 4 years have been coming to me suffering, and I can't help them. It's not right. It's not fair. I did everything in my power to make sure that the law was followed by me and even the undercover. I made him produce evidence. I upheld the law, was able to prove his qualifications. Choice of evil. You're faced with a choice, one or two things. You choose to do one thing that is less evil than the other. What evil was I seeking to avoid by transferring cannabis to him? His suffering. There is no other evil. The only thing he lacked was a card. The government is desperately trying to obtain a conviction in this case for one reason only. I've called attention to the deficits in the Hawaii medical cannabis system. Deficits that even Prosecutor Mitch Roth and Senator Rubin said existed. I went to meetings, I talked to everybody for 8 years. I think the evidence is real clear. They went too far and they trapped me. In 2015, the state of Hawaii had a medical cannabis program. It was taking patients' money, including mine, and issuing medical cannabis registration cards. As such, I believe in good faith that there was a legal way to acquire and maintain an uninterrupted supply of medicine as the law intended. I sincerely studied the law to determine how to comply with it. I believe I've put in more hours trying to understand how to comply with the medical cannabis program requirements than anyone, including Mr. Dammerville himself. I did this so that I and others would not be subject to arrest and prosecution. I learned that although the medical cannabis program is governed by both laws and rules, laws are superior to rules, and I noticed with regards to the adopted rules of the DOH that they overreached executively and have gone beyond the scope of the authority granted to them by law. I believe I follow the law and the DOH medical cannabis rules, although Dammerville alleged that I violated rules and should not be allowed protection.
So, Mr. Ruggles, why don't you consult with Mr. Sheriff for a little bit?
Out of time. Appreciate your time. I appreciate your patience. Sorry I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a word master. I hope you've gotten my point across to you. Thank you.
State's prosecution theory never changed in this case. So Officer Fontenot was assigned to call up Mr. Ruggles and indicate a willingness in buying medical marijuana. Mr. Ruggles was very gracious, asked him for his medical marijuana card, also known as a registry card, also known as a registry certificate. And Mr. Ruggles said, well, I can't sell you medical marijuana if you don't have a card. So Mr. Officer Fontenot then contacted Dr. James Berg's office to make an appointment for medical marijuana. And he gave him a to whom it may concern letter. The evidence will show that a to whom it may concern letter does not authorize you to purchase or acquire marijuana. You have to have a medical marijuana card. Anyway, he sold the undercover officer approximately a half ounce, again, as cannabis, and he sold him what he represented as being cannabis concentrate, along with a vaping device. The officer left the, and that's basically the case. You're going to hear that it's just not legal. There's no defense, there's no excuse, legal defense for selling marijuana, cannabis to someone who is not allowed to possess it without a medical marijuana card. This is not a case about can he sell to people who have medical marijuana cards, medical cannabis cards, can he transfer to qualifying patients. It's not about that. This case is down to he didn't have a medical cannabis card when he showed up, he inquired, and the court will instruct you on the law. Done. The law comes from the judge, not from me. Prosecution theory never changed in this case. It didn't change. You can't sell to someone who's not your patient. Bottom line. That's the law. He wants you to ignore all of it. I ask that you return a verdict that speaks the truth. Thank you.
Well, I might admit I vaporize a bit of cannabis. I'm gonna go to Alaska, Maine, Massachusetts, Colorado. We've got those hippies in the hills and them doctors scripting pills down in the valley below. Grab your horse and your hat, come on buddy, let's go. Hippies in the hills.
All right.
All right, are we ready for the song?